Welcome. Hi everybody. My name is Ruby Engena and this is HR Fridays. Merry Christmas to you and a Happy New Year to all your families wherever you are watching from. Just like it's the festive season, on this edition of HR Fridays, we have gifts and gifts and gifts and gifts and more gifts for you. The first gift is for those of you who have looked for jobs in 2018 and haven't got any. Do we have jobs for you on this episode? No, but I do have 5 tips you would use in 2019 for you to get your dream job. Tip 1, identify your career path. It will give you the direction of which job you need to apply for. Tip 2, review your CV. Does it have spelling errors? Does it have all the accomplishments that you have had to date? Go through it and make sure it's on point. Tip 3, be prepared always. Have your first 5 minutes on your hands in case you got a job offer in a less amount of time that you suspected. Tip 4, work on yourself. Self-improvement. What is your weakest area? Is it confidence? Speak to a tree, speak to a mirror, speak to a friend, whatever you have to do to bring that confidence out. Tip 5, pray, because at the end of the day, it is God who gives us direction of where we have to and need to be. I can guarantee that if you follow the 5 tips, 2019 will end as a successful year for you. Our second gift on the show is the gift that keeps on giving. She gives us a mother, she gives us a friend, she gives us a wife, and she gives us a leader, to mention but a few. One of the hints on our next guest is she does love her soda. You did guess right. I have the honor and the privilege to sit down with the HR director of Coca-Cola Beverages Africa, Munnu Omer. Told you, gifts and gifts and gifts. Martha, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I introduced you earlier as the gift that keeps on giving. You give us a mother, you give us a wife, you give us a friend, you give us a leader. I just want to know, what's your balance? How do you manage to strike a balance between everything?
First of all, you can never balance. The main thing you do is integrate everything into your life. Yeah. So it's an illusion to actually think that you'll have a time when you balance everything. What is important is that you get to integrate all those things. Yeah. And make sure that you're not ignoring any, do everything, integrate, you do your own schedule, your own plans, your own everything. That will not look like anybody else, but it takes care of everybody, all the different aspects that you have to take care of. Yeah.
You're the HR director of one of the biggest and best brands in the country, the brand of choice, Coca-Cola Beverages Africa.
And I'm very proud of that.
It is a very big brand, and I'm just wondering, do you at times act as an HR director at home? And do you at times act as a mother at work?
Very interesting question. First of all, it's so funny that I can't fire people from my home. If I want to fire my maid, I need to borrow my sister because I can't do that. So that shows you I'm not an HR director. Where it normally comes out, I don't know whether it's the HR director in me or the leader in me, is if we have like a family function or something, I kind of tend to take over, I want to know what's going on. But at home, I just want to be a mother. And then, when I'm with my mom, I just want to be a daughter. I remember I was having a discussion with her one day, and then she said, you know what, you know a lot about HR, but I know a lot about life. So I'm going to guide you on life. You can go do your HR at work. So it's, I just try to, because it's my place where I go to undo everything, come home and don't think about work and just be in the moment and enjoy yourself. So I'm very conscious not to bring my HR stuff at home. Yeah.
Okay, so this month on HR Fridays, we've been speaking about the hidden weapons of success. We spoke about consistency, we spoke about gratitude, and now we're speaking about the family, because I've had the privilege to have a chat with you outside this, and you're very strong for the family as a hidden weapon of success. But before we get into that, I want to know, is there something you did as a child or you were taught as a child that you do to date, either at work or at home?
There's so many things I was told when I was young. And, they kind of just go through in whatever you do. One of the biggest things that I learned, as a child, which was on a good side, was that for me, as long as you were older and as long as you were male, I had to respect you in a certain way. And I actually, at some point, I had to catch myself out of it to know, what, I'm in a position where I need to respect everybody, but it doesn't make any other sex more superior than I am. And I need to catch myself getting out of it. And because there's that thing as traditional African society, it's very good that we get to respect our elders, and I don't care whether, as long as you're an elder, I will. But then what I should actually unlearn is that I need to treat the male species different from wherever. So that's something I've had to unlearn. And making sure that, it doesn't take away the fact that I'm a wife, I'm everything and whatever, but know that if I had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, I should treat them the same, shouldn't make the other more important than the other.
So what did you learn also as a child that you've put in your children now? Like, if I look at your children now, what is that one thing I would look at and say, this is Martha?
It's going to be a habit, a very, interesting you say that, bad or good, I don't know whether it's a bad habit. Now, when I was younger, I always liked to get time alone. And there was so many, like my mom took care of the entire village or something, so we always were very many at home. And there was always one place where if you went there, no one would bother you, no one would look for you, no one... So I would spend a lot of my time in the loo, and it was always a clean place. And you go there and I would feel like, oh God, no one is around me. Which was, so when I grew up, when I was designing my home and designing my house, other women would be designing the kitchen and everything. Actually, I was designing my bathroom, how will it look like, where will I put the newspapers, how will I put the magazines. So I got into that place, like I need a very big space. So for me, when I'm going to that space, everybody knows it's my space. And they say, "Bye, mommy." What time? That time, my husband, when we had just gotten married, he would ask, "What time do you intend to get out of there?" And no one bothers me. But I've picked out that my daughters are picking on the same. Actually, the young one, she spends a lot of time. When she goes there, you get her singing, doing her legs, doing everything, remembering what she learned. So I just knew she's either it's the genes or she's picking up, and that's our cleanest place in the house. We keep it with updated, magazines, newspapers, and everything, because it's the one place you go, and no one at work will call you, not anybody at home. The maid won't call you, no one. So it's a I don't know, it's a habit that we have. At that place, unless someone is dying, no one calls me out of that place. Like, everybody knows. It's like an unwritten rule, and I go there after I've done everything. So if anybody wants anything from me, I have finished. So it's my time. So you won't get me at work going to, that I'm taking my time in the bathroom at work. No, I don't, because I know, there's a special time I'm going for. So it's interesting, and my kids have picked up on it also. It has also become their time. Yeah.
Okay, Martha, so let's talk about the family and the workplace. Do you, from an HR perspective or your personal perspective, can a family make or break someone's career?
Yes, it does, and it does in different perspectives. The values that we're taught at a very young age, they stick. Anything that you're taught before you're 10, the behaviors, the respect, everything, the values that you input, the beliefs, they really stick. And if you grew up knowing, you don't respect people, you treat people like trash, you treat a maid like a maid, if you're not helped at a certain age, you go through, you become a leader, and then you become that leader that treats people like they don't matter. Like, you take them, you're like you're a slave driver or something, it does matter. And you may do it unknowingly. And you become that kind of person that cannot be promoted because of the way you treat people. You may not be technically sound, but as long as you're a good leader, all people want is that you have a leader that gets things done. You may not know what people do, but if you're a leader, you actually get people to do stuff for you. So if you miss out at that stage, if you're taught that, you might end up being that kind of person that can't survive in a community of people. That's one. The other is, if you're a person that is looking forward to getting married and getting kids, you need a strong spouse, whether it's a husband or a wife. There comes a time when, it's your support system. You have your support system. It's your spouse, it's your extended family, it's friends that have become family. We have friends that actually become family at a certain point. And you need that support system. Remember I said you come from work and you want to go home, and it's a different, you're welcomed back. It's a different vibe. You're not talking about work. You're just enjoying being a mother, being a wife, being whatever you do. And you just need that space where you go. And sometimes, there's stuff, for example, in my position, I probably would not talk a lot about certain things, but sometimes you just need to go to a place where no one is asking you about that stuff. Or if you have to talk about it, it's because it's too much and you just want a place to let out steam. So it does support you. You get a kid, you need a lot of support. It's something where if you start focusing on your child, you actually can lose your career. But the only way you get not to focus on your child is, if you have a very stable, strong system. And my job, I got my kids at the point where I was already at HR director level. My roles involved a lot of moving, and I remember sometimes I would be on the plane and I'm crying because I've left a very small kid at home, and it wasn't working for me at that point because I didn't know what to do. And then I had a friend who had been at that level, and she just said, you know what, you choose to do this. You've chosen to be a mother and an HR director, and you've got to find a way of how to make them work. So she kind of guided me and mentored me on how you can do it. And I was so blessed that I had a girl, I got her as a maid, and she became family. And that girl will look after my daughter better than I do. I would look after my own child, and I felt so safe. I would be at work, I would be out of the country, and I'm not worrying because she treated my kid like her own child or like her own sister. And of course my husband was supportive. If he was there, if I said I'm going, he said go, we'll take care of the kids. Then there are times I would call on my sister when they were very young, if I had to travel, I'd say, you know what, Mary, can you just come and go with me and look after my daughter? And they did. You can only do that if you actually have a good relationship. If I'm not at home, my sisters check on my kids in turns. This one comes today, the other comes the other day, because my sisters are like me. So when the kids see them, they call them mommy, so they see them as another mother that they have. So you don't worry. You can pick your bags, go to any place, do your work, and come back, and your kids are safe. If you don't have that, it's you may fail in your career because you can't balance the two. The other is the people that we actually don't pay a lot of focus on, and those are the maids. My maid, then that I had, who became my daughter, who became family because she's now family to me, she was a very, very big part of me being able to have a good career because she gave it her everything. She knew I needed to be at work. If I woke up at night and the baby was crying, she would say, no, mommy, go back to sleep. You need to work tomorrow. I'll take care of this. At some point, she would say, move the beds so that you can sleep through the night. Just give me the milk. I'll look after the baby. And she did. They loved her. She spent a lot of time with them. They became like her young sisters. And this is someone I didn't know, but because I treated her like family, she fit into the family. And she was, I always tell her that, she's contributed too much in making sure that I have a successful career, because she never made me worry about anything. I didn't worry about the kids. I didn't worry about home because she was there. We actually made her manager. She manages everybody at home, the guy who works on the compound, the guards and everything. She's the manager at home. But that's something that someone may underlook. But if you're a lady, you need that person that you can count on. And of course, like I said, the extended family is very helpful. My mom, she would have to leave her home sometimes to just come and support me through the process. I'm not around and she feels the kids are alone. Then she comes around to just check on the kids. Yeah, so it kind of just gives you that comfort. You're not panicking, you're not at work and panicking, oh, my kid, or wherever, where do I take my kid and stuff. You're just settled and concentrating on doing your job. Yeah.
So Martha, interesting insights there. Yeah. I personally have the privilege to work under your leadership. And in the introduction, I was saying, you can't work with Martha and not love HR. And by HR, I mean people. Yeah. You can't work with Martha and not love HR, human resource, literally. From the stories you're saying, I see a lot of stability from your family, and, you have peace at home, so you're able to work. Now, for someone who has worked under you, and I know how good a leader you are, would you say that stability is the reason you are the person that you are? Is stability important in grooming a good manager or grooming a good team leader, or just grooming a good employee, if they have that stability at home?
Well, I'll say, there are quite a number of things that make you a good leader. Stability is just one of them, but it's very critical because that's one other thing you don't have to deal with, because you can't concentrate if you're not stable in one area or the other. And stability only doesn't come because you're married. You can be single, but you need that stability. If you're going to run out of fuel, you need someone to support you. If you're going to leave your home or something. So stability is very critical. Or if things get tough and you just need someone to talk to, whether you're married or not, it's important to have that kind of stability. So it's one of the main things. Now, if you're unstable, in the sense that home is fighting, you don't want to go to that place, it just goes through the workplace. It's very difficult to separate the two. You can't say, okay, now I'm at the gate and I have forgotten, I'm stable now. You retry, but it kind of, it's normal. You kind of get to a place where you're working too hard not to remember your problems. So if you're in a place where you don't have to deal with that, it does help, and it kind of, it gives you a different sense. If you value your family, if you value the people that you have in your other life, it cuts through again to your place of work. You know that, those are people's sisters, those are people's brothers, they're people's mothers, and you just value them as much as, and you appreciate. If you appreciate the people that are supporting you to, every day behind the scenes, you end up appreciating the people that are helping you get the money that you take home to actually put food on the table for the people that you care about. So it's just one. It can't be it can't be the only thing, but it's one that it's important to have that stability out of work. And it's that support system that you need, which is very strong.
Okay, so Martha, when I think about family, personally, I think about, love, unity. We're in the festive season, so it's Christmas, you're going back home, you have like a sister you can rely on, you can send your kids maybe to their parents, to their grandparents, and etc. I'm thinking about an employee who hasn't had that. You've grown up, let's say, with a father who's a drunkard, single mom, wife, the mom was beaten, everything is unstable. You didn't have the chance to learn the values growing up. So I am a bad leader, quote unquote, not by choice, but no one really taught me. Is it the end of the world for me?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Now, we don't choose where we're born. That's for sure. You can't choose your parents, you can't choose where you're born, and you can't choose for your parents how to behave. But you can choose how to, you choose how you behave or how your life turns out. Yes, you at the point where you have no people influencing you, or you don't know what is better, you might think that's the best you can do. But we all know that when you go to school, they actually tell us how to behave, in good schools, and most of the schools in Uganda are like that, because Uganda is predominantly Christian or Muslim, or it's a faith country. So you actually can learn some of those things from there. The friends that you see how your friends' parents are behaving or how they're treated, and you can learn out of that. You can choose to get out of that situation, and it's not the end of the world. Now, when you go to the workplace, every workplace has its values and beliefs. When you reach there, they tell you this is how we behave, this is how we treat each other, and this is who we are. At that point, you leave out all that noise that you had, and all you have to do is stick to the values of that place. Because in that place, everybody comes with all sorts of values. But there's always a unifying value, and it has a lot of things to do with how people behave. And you can choose to learn from that, because you want to go to a place where you're respected. And it feels good to be respected. So that means you can do the same. You can go out there and respect other people. You can choose to have a different family, because how you treat your wife, your kids, your anything is your choice. You can choose to be different, and especially if you're exposed. If you're not, it's different. But if you're working and you have been exposed, you know better. You know what is right and what is wrong. It's unfortunate that you had the upbringing was different, but you have opportunities. In places like where I work, we actually have all sorts of training, and those trainings, especially leadership trainings, also bring in those other aspects of life. You have coaches, you have mentors, and then all of us believe in something. You know, you can believe in a certain kind of God you believe in. And most of those things that people believe in are spiritual things. Really, they teach about most of those values, the respect, the family. I've not seen anything that someone believes in that says go beat your wife, or don't look after your kids, or don't respect people. They're not there. Whether it's a God, whether it's a small God, whether it's what faith, whether it's Christian, Muslim, Catholic, we all believe in something that is much bigger than we are, and is based on values that actually do respect some of those. So it's not the end of the world. It's something that you take a conscious decision to unlearn. You can also be born in a very good family, very stable, and then choose different. You know, you choose to, and then you turn out terrible. So it has nothing to do with how you were born. It has everything to do with the choices that you make in life. So you can choose to be different, or you can choose the best out of whatever makes you, you know, whatever you want is what you choose. Yeah.
Okay, so forgetting everything I've asked you, what are your 2 cents on family and workplace as a hidden element of success?
Family in this case, I'm not talking about whether you're married or single or wherever, but families, like I said, it can be friends that have become family. It's your inner circle. It's very, very important. You know, it's important in your life. That kind of support system that you have is very important, and it teaches you things that actually help you at your workplace. You leave home happy. You know, if I fell ill, I have family that I can count on, and family can be your spouse, your friend, but people that have become family. You know, so it's very, very important, and that's why you see in companies, they always say, you know, at certain time we need to thank the families that support you, because they know they're doing a lot of things behind the scenes to hand over a good product, you know. They support you so that you can go there, do your best, and then come back. And they're kind of intertwined. You cannot depend on a workplace 100%. Tomorrow they wake up and fire you. If you have no place to go back to or no friends to go support you, it's a very difficult. You become suicidal because there's nothing else outside work. So you need your family. And like I said, family can be anybody that has become your family. You need that strength at home for it to be able to support you at work. So if you can balance the two, have a very happy workplace and have a very happy family area, then you have a very happy life. So, you know, somehow they're intertwined in a way. And thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud that you're doing this. Really doing this, and also, you know, you've learned, I'm sure you have learned a lot in your journey, and you being able to share it with the world, you know, it makes me very proud. Like, we're bringing up something very important for this country.
Thank you very much, Martha. Normally on the show, at the end of the show, I think back at what the interviewee has said and look for something that I can highlight. But with you, you've given me so many, I don't even know where to start. But maybe I like the fact that you said just because I came from a stable family doesn't mean I will turn out to be a good person. And just because I came from an unstable family doesn't mean I'll turn out to be bad. At the end of the day, it's about the decisions that we make. And also the fact that you've taught me that when I'm designing my house, maybe I should pay careful attention to the loo, because that's where we need to, everybody needs a safe space. It doesn't have to be the kitchen, but maybe I'll try out with the loo as well. To the rest of the viewers, I told you she's the gift that keeps on giving, and I know that you have learned. Go back home and hug your family, because they spend a lot of time building our careers in ways that we cannot mention. See you next week. You're the CEO of you.